My beloved child, listen carefully, for this is a critical and decisive spiritual moment. I come to you now with a firm promise. The problem that has consumed your thoughts, stolen your rest, and weighed on your heart, I, the Lord, will resolve. I do not only watch your struggle, I walk within it. I do not only record your tears, I transform each one into seeds of victory. Nothing you have lived was in vain. Every step, every fall, every long and silent night was observed by me and redefined by me. I am your Father, your refuge and your strength. And in this hour I declare over you, it will not end in defeat, but in a new beginning. I never turned away from you, even when your mind screamed that you were alone. I was there in the silence, in the dark, in the closed room where only you knew the weight you carried. I was present when you believed that no one cared, when you thought your failures had driven me away. But listen well, my love knows no variations, no shadow of change. I do not withdraw love when you fail, I increase grace to sustain you. And if the world pointed the finger and said there was no future for you, I say, in me every end is only a new beginning. You blame yourself for what you lost, for the mistakes you made, for the opportunities you did not know how to seize. But I say, none of this was able to prevent me from fulfilling what I wrote for you. You did not ruin your destiny, you did not tear the promise, you did not destroy the future. I myself, with my eternal hands, wrote your story, and no human weakness can erase what I have determined. Even if you strayed, I drew paths to bring you back. Even if you fell, I prepared my lap to lift you up. Even if you hid, I extended light to find you. I know every hidden fear, every doubt you never dared to confess, every wound you hide behind the smile. I know the night you thought about giving up everything. I know the day you wondered if it was worth continuing. But see, my child, if you are hearing my voice now, it is because I preserved your life, guarded your breath, and still have a powerful work to manifest through you. Failures did not drive me away. On the contrary, they only opened space for the revelation of my grace. You thought I saw you with eyes of accusation, but I always saw you with eyes of a father. When you fell, I did not turn my face, I extended my hand. When you were ashamed to return, I was already waiting with open arms. When you believed you were empty, I was already filling you again. There is no guilt so deep that my mercy cannot reach. There is no failure so great that my forgiveness cannot cleanse. Do not allow the voices of the enemy to convince you that it is over. Do not accept the lie that it is too late. The time that passed was not wasted, it was preservation. I hid you in silence so that you would not be destroyed before the time. I kept you behind closed doors because it was not yet the time for exposure. I even protected you from yourself so that you could reach this moment. Now I say, the time of hiding is over. The time of accusation is over. The time of darkness is over. I am the God who restores, and this is the hour of restoration. I take your tears and transform them into authority. I take your pains and transform them into anointing. I take every rejection you faced and convert it into a public testimony of my glory. What they mocked in you, I turn into honor. What they said you could not achieve, I have already written as victory. What they said was dead, I declare life. Do not cling to what was. Look at what I am doing now. See beyond the dust of the present. Perceive the new path I open before you. I'm taking you from the condition of survivor to place you as heir of the promise. I'm exchanging your garments of weight for garments of joy. I'm putting new words in your mouth, words of faith, words of life. Listen well, my child. You are not what the past said. You are not what people labeled. You are not the sum of your failures. You are what I declared. You are loved. You are chosen. You are marked by heaven. There are gifts in you that have not yet come forth, but that now begin to awaken. There are promises over your life that were dormant, but now begin to manifest. I declare over you peace that surpasses understanding. I declare strength where there was weakness. I declare hope where there was despair. I declare light where there was darkness. You will not collapse, for I am the solid rock that sustains you. You will not sink, for I am the hand that lifts you. You will not be shamed, for I am the God who turns shame into honor. My beloved child, this is the time to believe again. This is the time to rest in me. I will be your shelter, your source, your present help. And that which you feared so much, I have already removed from your path. What you could not resolve in months, I will resolve in days. What seemed unreachable, I will bring to you. Because I am faithful, and I do not leave unanswered the cry of those who seek me sincerely. Remain firm in my presence, trust in my unconditional love, and see with your own eyes the miracle that is already being released in your life. I am the Lord who sustains you, and nothing can separate you from my love. My beloved child, do not fear, for I, the Lord your God, am with you, and today I speak directly to your heart to uproot the root of fear that has paralyzed you. Listen well. What you see as an insurmountable obstacle, I have already turned into a step of advancement. What you call defeat, I call process. The weight you feel is not the announcement of the end, but the proof that you are entering into a new territory already prepared by my hands. I did not allow the enemy to win. I did not let the darkness consume you, because I have eternal plans that cannot be frustrated. Fear shouts for you to stop, but I declare that this is the time to rise and walk boldly. You look at your hands and think they are too weak, insufficient to hold what is coming ahead. But I tell you, it is not about your strength, it is about mine. It is not about your ability, it is about my power that is perfected in your weakness. You do not need to carry alone the burden the world placed on you, because I have already carried your pains, your guilt, your infirmities upon myself. I am the rock that does not shake. I am the hand that does not let go. I am the God who does not retreat. How many times have you felt surrounded, as if every way out was blocked, as if every attempt was frustrated? How many times did you believe you would not have the strength to take the next step? I saw each one of those situations, and in all of them, I was there. Even when you thought the silence was abandonment, it was me, preserving you from hasty choices and keeping you in the midst of the storm. Silence was not absence, it was construction. Delay was not punishment, it was strategy. What you call wasted time, I call preparation. Do not let fear steal from you what I have already released from heaven. Fear is a shadow that projects larger than it really is, but it has no substance before my light. Every time you allow yourself to be paralyzed by anxiety, you are letting a lie take the place of truth. The truth is this: I'm already in your tomorrow, preparing every detail. I am already in your future, opening ways you cannot see. I'm already in the place of your victory, only waiting for you to advance in faith. You think, what if it does not work out? What if I fail again? What if I do not have the strength? But I ask you, have you realized that the very fact that you are still standing, even after everything you faced, is already proof that I sustain you? Have you realized that what should have destroyed you did not succeed because my hand was upon you? Have you realized that each fall was also a lesson, and that each tear watered the seed of a future harvest? It is not time to go back, it is time to believe that what I began in you will be completed with glory. My child, the enemy tries to whisper that you will not make it, that you will fail again, that nothing will change. But I tell you, the enemy has been a liar since the beginning. What he tries to use as a weapon against you, I have already turned into testimony in your favor. The battles are not signs of abandonment, but signs that I am preparing you to occupy a greater position. The wars you face today are training for the authority you will carry tomorrow. What now hurts you will tomorrow be your credential of spiritual authority. I did not call you to live shrunk by fear, but to walk with your head lifted in the confidence that I am with you. Do not diminish your faith before the size of the problems. Look at the size of your God before the problems. Do not be frightened by the enemy's roar, because he has no power to touch what I have already sealed. I myself surrounded your life. I myself wrote your story. I myself guaranteed the victory. My beloved child, remember what I have already done for you. Do not forget the times when I opened doors when everything was closed. Do not forget the times when I healed wounds no one could see. Do not forget the times when I sent provision at the exact moment. If I was faithful yesterday, I will be faithful today, and I will be faithful tomorrow. I'm the same. I do not change. I do not fail. I do not give up on you. Now I declare, fear will no longer have dominion over your mind. I declare that anxiety will no longer steal your peace. I declare that insecurity will no longer hold back your steps. I declare that the strength of my spirit rises within you, bringing courage, boldness, and rest. I declare that new doors open before you, and that the weight that seemed to crush you will be transformed into wings that will make you fly higher. Rise up, because I sustain you. Advance, because I go before you. Rest, because I have already won for you. Fear will not have the final word, I do. Insecurity will not dictate your story, I write your story. Men will not determine your destiny, I have already determined it. So walk in the certainty of my love. Walk in the confidence that I do not make mistakes. Walk knowing that even if winds blow and seas rage, I am in the boat, and no wind is stronger than my voice. This is the time for you to look at fear and say, I do not walk by what I see, but by what I believe. This is the time for you to declare, I have been marked by heaven and nothing will stop me. This is the time for you to stand firm in the promise I made, because my promises do not return empty. My words are not lost. My plan does not fail. My beloved child, I tell you today, overcome fear, conquer doubts, cross the valleys. I am already on the other side, waiting for you with victory, honor, and peace. My beloved child, listen to my voice, because today I come to give you clear instructions, direction that will preserve you and open doors your eyes cannot yet see. Do not neglect this moment. Do not allow distractions to steal from you what I am releasing now. The time is critical and every detail matters. I am your God, who calls you by name and who never fails to lead my children through safe paths. You asked for signs, you cried out for direction, you questioned, Lord, what should I do? And now I say, keep your ears open, because simple and immediate obedience will be the key for what is coming. You look at the days ahead and feel a weight, as if important decisions are about to be placed in your hands, and I confirm, yes, there will be choices before you. Some will seem easy, others challenging, but in all of them, my voice will be your compass. I have not left you without guidance. I have already planted in your heart the discernment to distinguish the right path. But inner silence is necessary. It is necessary to quiet the noise of fear and haste, so that you can perceive the gentle whisper of my spirit. There will be doors that will open suddenly, and you may ask yourself, is this from God? Should I enter? And I say, I am the God of peace. When it is I who open, you will feel peace in the midst of the unknown. Fear may try to scream, but within your spirit there will be a deep peace, a sign that it is I guiding you. But there will also be doors that will present themselves with deceptive brightness, empty promises, paths that seem quick but hide traps. Do not rely only on appearance. Do not rely only on what natural eyes see. Seek in prayer, and I myself will confirm. Remember, obedience does not have to be complicated. Many times, small steps unlock great miracles. When I told Abraham to leave his land, I did not reveal all the details. I only commanded him to trust. When I asked Peter to cast the nets, it seemed too simple for an experienced fisherman, but in that simple act came the multiplication. So it will be with you. The key is to hear and obey without questioning the size of the command. You have asked, Lord, what if I make a mistake? What if I do not recognize your voice? And I tell you, I am your Father, and I will not leave you lost. If your heart is willing to obey, I will not allow wrong choices to divert you. I am greater than your fears, greater than your limitations, greater even than your mistakes. When you stumble, I adjust the path. When you are confused, I send confirmation. When you hesitate, I renew courage. In the coming days, prepare yourself, because there will be situations that will require quick answers. Do not fear, because I am already training your spirit to discern. I will give you dreams, impressions, signs that only you will understand. My spirit will testify within you, and you will be certain. But remember, do not hesitate. Delay in obeying can cost you doors that were opened only for a time. This is the moment to act in faith, without procrastinating, without negotiating with doubt. Obedience also includes releasing forgiveness. I know there are wounds in your heart, people who hurt you deeply, but I say, do not carry the weight of bitterness. The forgiveness you release makes room for my justice to operate. If you hold on to the pain, I cannot place in your hands the new promises. When you release, I restore. When you let go, I deliver. When you obey by forgiving, I heal and honor you before all. My child, the enemy knows he cannot stop what I have already determined, but he tries to distract you to delay. He whispers that there is no rush, that you can leave it for later, that there is no problem in postponing what I have already spoken. But I say, time is precious. Obey immediately, because every act of obedience accelerates the fulfillment of my promises. Obedience is also walking in faith, even when you do not understand why. You will not always see the immediate result, but I assure you, every step in obedience opens paths in the unseen. Just as a key opens doors that were locked, your obedient faith opens heavenly portals. You may not perceive it at the moment, but in due time, you will see how each choice aligned with my voice was essential. I am calling you to a deeper surrender, not only to obey in great things, but in details of daily life, in how you speak, how you treat others, how you manage what I place in your hands. Do not despise the small, because in the small, I test the faithfulness for the much. Do not ignore the subtle, because in the details, I train your heart for greater things. Today, I invite you to trust fully. I am the God who opens seas, but I am also the God who guides in the gentle breeze. I am the God who brings down walls, but I am also the God who speaks in the silence of the heart. If you keep your ears attentive, you will not walk lost. If you remain obedient, you will not know defeat. My beloved child, I did not bring you this far to leave you confused. I did not begin the good work to abandon you halfway. I do not speak in vain. Every word that comes out of my mouth fulfills the purpose for which it was sent. So hear and obey, because obedience will be your greatest weapon against the enemy and your greatest bridge to the future. Do not fear the next steps. Do not fear the decisions you will have to make. Do not fear the changes that will come. I am already in control. I have already gone ahead. I have already prepared the way. Your part is only to trust and obey. The impossible is with me. The step of faith is with you. And I promise, if you hear me and obey, you will see doors open that you never imagined. You will see healings that science cannot explain happen. You will see provision arise where there was nothing. You will see people being transformed around you because of your obedience. Obedience is the channel through which I pour out miracles, and I am calling you to live greater miracles. My beloved child, walk in obedience, walk in faith, walk in trust, and you will see the abundance of heaven manifest in your life like never before. My beloved child, listen to my voice carefully, because today I come to reveal something deep about who you are and about the purpose I have carried for your life since before your mother's womb. You have allowed labels, harsh words, and rejections to define your identity, but I say, You are not what they said. You are not the mistakes you made, nor the failures that marked your journey. You are not the losses you suffered, nor the doors that closed before you. You are what I declared. You are my beloved child, chosen, set apart, marked by heaven, carrying an eternal calling that neither time, nor man, nor the enemy can erase. How many times have you believed that your life was too small to matter, that your gifts were insignificant, that your name would never be remembered? But I, the Lord, say, every detail of who you are was designed by my hands. I breathed the breath of life into you with a defined purpose. I wrote your name in my eternal scroll. I planted gifts and talents inside you that the world has not yet seen. You were not born by chance. You are not alive by accident. You were not the fruit of coincidence. You were born within a perfect plan, and every mark of your story, even those you think are failures, are part of the greater work I am building through you. I know the weight of the words that hurt you. I know when they said you had no value, when they mocked your dreams, when they rejected what you carried. But listen, none of that canceled the anointing I poured over you. None of that diminished the spiritual authority I placed in you. None of that removed the inheritance that is already released over your life. On the contrary, every rejection, every scorn, and every no you received became bricks to build the authority you will have when you speak, when you rise, when you testify. I tell you, you are not an orphan. You have a Father who sees you, who knows you, who calls you. Do not live trying to prove your worth before men, because before me you are already loved, already accepted, already approved. You do not need to beg for recognition, because I have already recognized you before the heavens. You do not need to fight for a place, because I have already prepared for you a place that no one can occupy. My child, you were created for more than survival. You are not here just to exist, but to manifest an eternal purpose. There are gifts in you that are dormant and that I now awaken. There are words inside you that will transform lives. There are experiences you lived that will be keys to heal other hearts. Nothing was lost. Everything was planted as seed so that in the right time it would bloom. You think you are small, but I say, in me, you are great. You think you have nothing to offer, but I say, what you have in your hands will be multiplied. You think it is already too late, but I say, I am the God who restores time, who gives back consumed years, who renews forgotten dreams. What seemed forgotten is being rekindled. What seemed dead is being resurrected. Do not allow the voice of the past to dictate your future. Do not accept the labels they put on you. Do not accept the limits they said you would have. I'm the God who breaks labels, who removes shames, who destroys barriers. I'm the God who turns the unlikely into the chosen, the rejected into a leader, the fallen into a victor. If men looked and said you would not make it, I look and say, I chose you precisely because no one expected it. My beloved child, your purpose is not only about you, it is about generations. There is an invisible line that connects your obedience to many who are yet to come. When you take a stand, not only your life is transformed, but your family, your friends, your community, even those you will never meet, will be reached. You were marked to be a living testimony, light in the midst of darkness, hope in the midst of hopelessness. I did not define you by your failures, but by my promise. I do not see you by your weakness, but by my power in you. I do not limit you by what you do not have, but I send you by what I placed in your hands. And I declare, inside you there is a glorious identity, there is an unbreakable calling, there is a future full of hope. You are a child of the eternal King. You are a bearer of my presence. You are a temple of my spirit. You are a messenger of my love. You are an instrument of transformation. You are the answer to prayers of many you do not even know. You are a living letter written not with ink, but with my own spirit. My child, lift your head. Reject the lies that said you could not, that you were not enough, that you were worthless. Walk as one who knows who they are in me. Speak as one who carries heaven's authority. Live as one who has an eternal purpose. I did not create you to hide, but to shine. I did not form you to be bound by fear, but to walk in freedom. I did not anoint you for silence, but for proclamation. You are part of a greater story, and the world will still see the manifestation of what I deposited in you. What now seems small will soon be great. What seemed insignificant will be a testimony of transformation. What seemed forgotten will be remembered as a sign of my glory. So, do not doubt anymore who you are. Do not question anymore the value you carry. Do not diminish anymore the gifts I gave you. Walk as a child, speak as a child, live as a child, because I chose you, I marked you, I anointed you, I sent you, and I declare the purpose I carried for you will be fulfilled. No one can steal it, no one can cancel it, no one can erase it. Heaven has already confirmed it, earth will recognize it, and you will see it with your own eyes. My beloved child, you are mine, and that is enough. Walk in identity, walk in purpose, walk in victory. My beloved child, today I come to renew in you what time, struggles and pains tried to erase, the faith that moves mountains and the hope that makes you continue even when everything seems contrary. Listen well, because this word is to restore what seemed broken inside you. I am the God who breathes life over dry bones, the God who rekindles the extinguished flame, the God who restores what you believe to be lost. And now, before you, I declare, your faith will be renewed, your hope will be restored, and what was heavy will be turned into relief. You have carried the weight of waiting, and the waiting has often made you feel that I had forgotten you. How many nights you asked yourself, does the Lord still hear me? Did my prayers reach heaven? I saw those tears. I heard those silent questions. And now I answer, I never stopped listening. I never stopped caring. I never stopped working in your favor. The silence was not neglect, it was preparation. The apparent delay was not failure, it was strategy, so that you would receive not only what you asked for, but something greater, more complete, more perfect than you could imagine. My promise has no expiration date. Time does not limit what I have already determined. Even if the world says it is too late, I am the God who knows no limits of time or space. If I promised, I will fulfill. If I spoke, I will do it. Even if everything around you seems to contradict, trust, I am faithful to fulfill. My child, renew your faith today. Not the faith that depends on circumstances, but the faith that looks to me and rests. The faith that believes even without seeing. The faith that remains firm even when the winds blow strong. The faith that refuses to give up because it knows in whom it has believed. That faith is more precious than gold because it is that faith that opens doors, that moves the impossible, that brings the miracle. I know that there are moments when discouragement seems stronger than hope. I know that there are days when getting out of bed already feels like a battle. I know that there are situations where the mind shouts, "It will not change." But I declare it will change. I am changing. I am transforming. I am breaking chains you could not break. I am bringing answers that were stuck. I am releasing provision that seemed distant. My hope is not fragile. It is not illusory. The hope I pour out is living, firm, eternal. It is an anchor that holds your soul even in the midst of storms. It does not depend on circumstances because it is rooted in me, the God who never fails. It is this hope that I now breathe again into you. Where there was despair, I plant trust. Where there was darkness, I light up. Where there was giving up, I place new breath. You thought that waiting was weakening you, but in fact it was strengthening you. Every day that you chose to continue, even without seeing, was a root of faith growing deeper. Every tear shed was watering seeds that now blossom. Every "I still trust" that you whispered was a prophetic act that moved heaven. Do not despise the process, because it was in it that I matured you. that I prepared you, that I taught you to depend only on me. My beloved child, give me all your burdens. You do not need to carry alone what only I can resolve. Place in my hands the worries about your family, your future, your finances, your health. I am big enough to sustain them all. When you insist on holding them, you overload yourself. When you surrender, I transform. When you trust, I work. Today I declare the weight falls to the ground. Anxiety loses strength. Unbelief is undone. I pour over you peace that surpasses understanding, joy that is not shaken by circumstances, rest that only those who trust the Father can experience. You do not need to control what you do not understand. Just rest in the certainty that I am in control. Lift up your eyes, because your tomorrow is already kept in me. I do not allow you to live without direction. I do not leave your days to chance. I have already traced the way, and even when you do not see, I am leading. Do not look to the future with fear. Look with expectation. Do not expect the worst, expect the best. Do not anticipate defeat, anticipate victory. What I prepared for you surpasses your boldest dreams. I give back to you the ability to dream. I rekindle in you the flame of hope. I restore in you the courage of faith. I open before you horizons that were hidden. What seemed distant is now near. What seemed unreachable is now in your hands. What seemed impossible now becomes testimony. My beloved child, choose today to believe again. Choose today to wait on me again. Choose today to rest in my arms again. I promise it will not be in vain. Every prayer will be answered. Every seed of faith will blossom. Every hope will be rewarded. You will see with your own eyes what I declared in secret. I not only give you promises, I fulfill promises. I not only speak to you of future, I build future. I not only fill you with hope, I am the very hope. And because I live, you will live. Because I am faithful, you will have victory. Because I do not fail, you will never be ashamed. My beloved child, anchor your faith in me. Hold on to the hope I give you. Walk without fear, because tomorrow is already full of my goodness. Trust, because I am the God who turns weeping into dancing, mourning into celebration, desert into garden. And you will see with your own eyes, the best is yet to come. My beloved child, today I come to you with a breath of new life. Because I know your faith has been attacked. I know your hope has been worn out, and I know that many times you thought of giving up. But I, the Lord, declare over you, this is the time of renewal. This is the time when I rekindle in you what the battles tried to extinguish. I am the God who makes all things new, and nothing in your life will remain tied to the past of pain, doubt, or fear. You have felt the weight of waiting, as if the days dragged on without visible changes. How many times did you ask yourself, does the Lord still hear me? Do my prayers still have value? And I answer with love. Every cry was recorded, every tear was gathered, every sigh was heard by me. There was not one prayer that was lost in the void. There was not one word of yours that has been forgotten. Even if you do not see it, I am working. Even if it seems like silence, I am preparing something much greater than what you asked for. My child, do not let waiting steal your trust, because waiting on me is not wasted time, it is eternal gain. The time when you remain in faith, even without seeing results, is the time when I strengthen your roots. It is the time when I prepare the harvest. The tears you shed were not in vain. They watered seeds that will soon bloom into miracles. I know you have felt tired. I know there were days when getting out of bed seemed impossible. I know there were nights when anxiety gripped your chest as if it would suffocate you. I know of the times when doubt whispered, nothing will change. But I tell you, everything will change. Because I am the same one who opened the sea for Israel, the same one who resurrected Lazarus, the same one who turned water into wine. I am the God who enters into impossible situations and changes scenarios in an instant. My beloved child, keep alive the flame of faith. Faith is the key that opens invisible doors. Faith is the shield that extinguishes the enemy's darts. Faith is the bridge that connects you to my promises. Without faith, you look at the problems and shrink back. With faith, you look at the problems and declare that greater is He who is with you. Renew your faith today. Even if it is weak, I do not reject small faith. Because even faith the size of a mustard seed can move mountains. And not only faith, but hope. I know hope runs out when days seem the same and answers do not come. But today, I breathe into you a living, firm, unshakable hope. The hope I place in you is not fragile, it is not illusory, it is not temporary. It is a hope that is born in me. And because I live, you can look to tomorrow without fear. You are not walking toward chaos, you are walking toward the fulfillment of promises. Remember, my child, everything I have already done for you. Remember the times I healed, the times I provided, the times I kept you from unseen dangers. If I was faithful before, I will continue to be faithful now. My faithfulness does not depend on your strength. It does not depend on circumstances. It does not depend on what men say. I am faithful because it is my nature. I am faithful because I am the same yesterday, today, and forever. So do not allow circumstances to dictate your faith. Do not allow the winds of life to steal your hope. Look to me. I am your anchor. I am your rock. I am your security. Even if the winds blow, even if the waves rise, you will not be shaken, because I am in the boat with you. I restore today your ability to dream. How many dreams have you put away because you believed there was no more time? How many projects have you shelved because you thought they would never come true? But I say it is not over. I am the God who restores lost years, who rekindles forgotten visions, who brings back to life what seemed dead. The dreams I planted in your heart were not buried, they were preserved. And now is the time to see them rise again with renewed strength. My beloved child, give me your burdens. Place in me your concerns about your family, your finances, your health, your future. You were not called to carry alone weights that only I can sustain. When you insist on holding them, you wear yourself out. When you give them to me, I transform. When you trust, I work. Today, I declare that the weight falls to the ground. Anxiety loses its strength, unbelief is undone. I pour over you a peace that surpasses all understanding, a joy that does not depend on circumstances, a rest that only my love can bring. You do not need to control everything because I am already in control. You do not need to understand everything because I have already traced the path. Lift up your eyes. See with the eyes of faith what I have already prepared. Do not expect the worst, expect the best. Do not anticipate defeats, anticipate victories. Do not declare failures, declare promises. What I have for you is abundant, it is perfect, it is greater than you can imagine. My beloved child, choose today to believe again, choose to wait again, choose to rest again. Your faith will not be in vain, your hope will not be frustrated, your cry will not be forgotten. You will see with your own eyes what I have already released in the invisible. I not only give promises, I fulfill them. I not only speak of the future, I build it. I not only fill you with hope, I am hope itself. And because I am the living God, you can live full of confidence. Because I am faithful, you can walk in peace. Because I am eternal, you can be certain that nothing will separate you from my love. My beloved child, renew your faith today. Receive again the hope I give you. Walk without fear, because tomorrow is already full of my goodness. Rest because I've already prepared the best. Trust because I am the God who turns tears into celebration, desert into garden, death into life. And you will see, the best is yet to come. My beloved child, listen carefully, because what I am going to say now is essential for the advancement of your life. and for my glory to multiply through you. I did not pour out upon you grace, comfort, renewal, and hope for them to be kept in secret. I healed wounds, lifted your head, and restored your dreams so that you would be a living channel, a bridge of hope, a voice proclaiming what I have already done in your life. You were not called only to receive, but also to share. What you received as a miracle should not remain restricted to your heart, but must be a testimony that reaches others. When I extended my hand and pulled you out of the abyss, it was so that others would see and believe. When I kept you through nights of pain, it was so that by telling your story, others would find relief. When I gave you victory over internal battles that no one understood, it was so that your mouth would become a trumpet of my faithfulness. Do not hide my work. Do not silence what I have done. I want to use your life as living proof that I am real, that I am faithful, that I never fail. You may think, but Lord, what I have is small, my story is simple, my life does not have that much value for others. But I tell you, do not despise what I have done in you. Do not underestimate the impact of what you carry, because sometimes a single word from you can be the answer for someone who's about to give up. Sometimes a testimony you consider small can be the miracle another needs not to take their own life. Sometimes the hug you offer can be the manifestation of my love to someone who has never felt true love. Sharing my word is not only preaching loudly, not only speaking to crowds. Sharing is living in such a way that every gesture, every attitude, every word reflects my presence in you. When you help the needy, you are sharing my goodness. When you forgive those who hurt you, you are sharing my mercy. When you keep peace in the midst of chaos, you're sharing my peace. My beloved child, do not be silent. The enemy wants you to keep quiet, to shut yourself in, to hide what you have lived, because he knows that your story full of miracles can break chains in many hearts. He knows that your voice, even simple, has authority in heaven and repercussion on earth. He knows that what I deposited in you is not only for you, but for many who are still in darkness. Therefore, rise up and speak. Tell what I have done. Share what you have received. Be light that breaks the darkness. And when you share, you not only bless others, but you also strengthen yourself. The testimony not only builds up the one who hears, it rekindles the flame in the one who speaks. Every time you declare, "The Lord delivered me, the Lord healed me, the Lord sustained me," you are reminding your own soul that I am faithful. Every time you share, your faith grows, your hope is renewed, your spirit is strengthened. Understand, I do not place you in families, in communities, in environments by chance. I strategically position you as a lighthouse in dark places, as an answer in the midst of despair, as hope in the midst of chaos. Do not run from the place where I planted you. There are people there who need to hear from you. There are hearts there that need to see in your life the reflection of my love. You do not need to fear rejection, because I myself will confirm your word. You do not need to fear criticism, because I myself will be your defense. You do not need to fear weakness, because I myself will speak through you. Just open your mouth, just extend your hand, just share. The rest I will do. My child, I pour upon you an anointing of boldness not to be silent. I give you courage to be a voice in the midst of silence. I give you authority to proclaim with love, without fear, without shame. I want your life to be like a river that cannot be dammed. The more it flows, the more it multiplies. And do not think that sharing is only about telling victories. Sharing is also showing that you went through pain, through struggles, through dark nights, but that in all of them I was present. Because when you show your weakness and declare that you were sustained by my hand, you glorify my name and show that the strength was never in you, but in me. Therefore, be authentic. Speak with simplicity. You do not need elaborate speeches, just say what I have done, because the sincerity of your heart will carry power. The humility of your word will have authority. The shine of my presence in you will be enough to touch others. And I tell you, every word of yours will not fall into the void. Every testimony of yours will be like a seed sown in hearts. Some will sprout quickly, others will take time, but all will produce fruit. And one day you will see that what you spoke in obedience changed destinies, saved lives, freed hearts. My beloved child, share the message that I give you. Do not keep it only to yourself. Just as the flame was not made to be hidden, what I have done in you was not made to remain hidden. Release this flame, spread this light, and as you share, I will multiply. I tell you, your life will be an open letter to this generation. What I do in you will be a testimony for many. Your home will be a sign of my faithfulness. Your days will be proof of my care, and everyone who looks will see that there is a living God who transforms, restores, and raises up. So, do not hold back. Open your heart. Share what I have done. Proclaim what I am, and you will see that as you bring hope to others, your own hope will multiply. As you bring healing to others, your own soul will be healed. As you bless, you yourself will be blessed. My beloved child, you are called not only to live miracles, but to spread them. You are called not only to carry my presence, but to manifest it. You are called not only to receive words, but to become a living word. And I will be with you in every step, in every gesture, in every word. My beloved child, incline your ears to me, because today I come to announce something that will change the way you see your own story. I am the God of justice, and nothing that was unjust against you will go unanswered. I saw when they mocked you. I saw when your sincerity was treated as weakness. I saw when your kindness was used against you. I saw every word spoken to diminish you. I saw every door that was closed without reason. I saw every tear shed in silence because of humiliation. But I say, I am the righteous judge, and I am bringing reversal. What was shame will become honor. What was contempt will become recognition. What was a wound will become testimony. You believed that you had been forgotten, that your pain had not been noticed, that your faithfulness had gone unnoticed. But listen, my child, no tear fell without me collecting it. No injustice was committed without me recording it. No act of faithfulness of yours went unnoticed before my eyes. While you thought you were alone, heaven was writing your story with letters of eternity. What the world called defeat, I call preparation. What they called failure, I turn into a platform. What they tried to bury, I resurrect before everyone's eyes. You were humiliated in public, but I will exalt you in public. You were rejected by men, but I will honor you before nations. You were treated as nothing, but I will lift you up to be a reference of my glory. Not because you sought human recognition, but because you chose to remain faithful even when no one saw. Your hidden faithfulness will now be manifested in visible honor. My child, do not avenge yourself with your own hands. Do not seek justice by your own means. I am your justice. I am your defense. I am the one who fights for you. Vengeance does not belong to you. It belongs to me. What you cannot resolve, I have already determined will be reversed. The hand that pointed at you for evil will see my hand act in your favor. What seemed to be lost will be restored twofold. What seemed finished will be rebuilt with greater glory. You have asked yourself, Lord, why did I have to go through so much humiliation? Why did you allow me to be treated with contempt? And I answer, because what I will do in your life cannot be attributed to human effort, but only to my intervention. When I lift you up, all will know it was not luck, it was not chance, it was not human merit. It will be so evident that even your enemies will have to acknowledge, it was the Lord who did it. I did not forget the words that wounded you. I did not ignore the times they ridiculed you. I did not fail to notice when doors were closed because of envy, when opportunities were stolen, when you were left aside. And now I say, there will be reversal. The same ones who mocked you will see you standing. The same ones who said you would not succeed will see you prosper. The same ones who despised your voice will have to hear the testimony of my work in your life. My beloved child, I am a God of justice, but I am also a God of restoration. I not only expose the error, I restore the honor. I not only show that you were right, I rebuild what was destroyed. I not only repay, I multiply. You will not only see justice, you will see abundance. You will not only see vindication, you will see restitution. I will give back to you what was stolen. I will restore broken relationships. I will restore the trust that was destroyed. I will open doors greater than those that were closed. I will lift you up to places you never imagined being. I will use what seemed to be ruin as the foundation for a glorious future. But I also say, your response to this justice must be gratitude, not pride. Do not glory in what I will do, but glorify my name. Do not use honor as vengeance. Use it as testimony. Do not see restitution as revenge. See it as a sign of my love. Because I do not want only to restore your life. I want to use your life to restore many others. Remember Joseph, who was betrayed by his brothers, sold as a slave, falsely accused and imprisoned without guilt. Man forgot him, but I did not forget him. And at the right time I took him out of prison and placed him in a position of government. What was injustice became the path to purpose. What was humiliation became a platform of authority. So it will be with you. My beloved child, prepare yourself, because I am bringing to light what was hidden. I am turning the pages of your story. I am elevating your position. I am making the light of my justice shine upon you. Do not fear, because it will not be too heavy. I will give you grace to sustain what is to come. I will give you wisdom to manage the honor. I will give you humility to remain firm. Today I declare, your life will be a testimony that I am just. Your story will be living proof that I do not forget. Your days will be a living reminder that I do not fail. And many will be reached by the way I turned your pain into victory. My child, you will not be marked by injustice. You will be marked by favor. You will not be remembered for humiliation. You will be remembered for honor. You will not live as a victim, but as a victor. I am the God who changes decrees, who overturns sentences, who writes new endings. And I say the end of your story will be glory. Trust in me. Give me your pain. Let go of the hurts. Do not carry any more the weight of injustice, because I am already taking care of it. Just walk in obedience, in humility, and in faith, and you will see. Divine justice not only repairs, it multiplies. My beloved child, the time of shame is over. The time of humiliation is over. Now begins the time of honor, the time of restitution, the time of justice that comes from heaven. Walk with your head held high, because I, the Lord, am with you, and no one will be able to stop what I am about to do in your life. My beloved child, listen with all the attention of your heart, because this is the moment when I bring you to the climax of what I have revealed so far. I did not raise you up only to survive the storms. I called you to leave an eternal legacy. Everything you have lived until now, every tear, every weight, every silent victory, was preparation for something greater than yourself. I did not make you heir of promises only for the present, but so that through you entire generations may be reached by my glory. You thought your story would end in anonymity, that your pains would only be personal marks, but I say, what happened in your life will become a platform for others to rise. I did not heal you only to ease your heart. I healed you so that your mouth would proclaim that I am the God who heals. I did not sustain you only so that you would breathe again. I sustained you so that your life would be a testimony that I never abandon. I did not transform you only for yourself, but for all who will be touched by the transformation I manifested in you. My beloved child, your anointing is not for status. Your anointing is not for human titles. Your anointing is not for vanity. It is for legacy. I anointed you so that your life would mark the world in an eternal way. I anointed you so that every step you take leaves footprints of faith, of hope, of healing, and of transformation. I anointed you so that every word of yours carries the weight of eternity, so that wherever you enter, my spirit is recognized, so that wherever you go, my kingdom is established. This is a prophetic time of convergence. Everything that seemed fragmented is aligning now. Everything that seemed lost is being restored now. Everything that seemed meaningless begins to reveal itself as part of a perfect plan. I did not waste any part of your story. I used even the falls, even the failures, even the pains to mold you as a vessel of honor. The enemy tried to destroy, but I used it to build. He tried to paralyze, but I used it to propel. He tried to silence, but I used it to train your voice. You are not being raised only to live promises, but to be a living witness of them. Not only to be blessed, but to become a channel of blessing. Not only to receive peace, but to spread peace. Not only to carry faith, but to activate faith in many. What I pour into you cannot be contained. It is like a river that overflows. It is like fire that spreads. It is like light that breaks the darkness. My child, the time has come to walk as one who knows they are marked by heaven. Do not hide anymore. Do not shrink back anymore. Do not allow fear to suffocate your voice. I myself put words of life on your lips. I myself place keys of transformation in your hands. I myself give prophetic direction to your steps. Walk with boldness, because I am with you. Do not think this is only about you. Do not think this call is only individual. Your obedience will open doors for your family. Your faithfulness will break chains from past generations. Your voice will awaken hearts that were asleep. Your steps will activate promises that were withheld. You will be remembered not as someone who gave up, but as someone who remained faithful until the end. And I tell you, this legacy is not only for this earth, but for eternity. What you do in my name will have eternal impact. The seeds you plant will not die with you, but will bear fruit in generations. The love you demonstrate will echo in hearts you will never know. The words you declare will remain as spiritual markers that no one can erase. I gave you gifts, I gave you anointing, I gave you purpose. Do not keep them. Do not hide them. Do not diminish them. Use them to mark the world. Use them to reveal who I am. Use them to be an answer. Every gift is a key. Every talent is a door. Every anointing is a weapon. I have already equipped you with everything you need. Do not look at what is lacking. Look at what I have already placed in you. My beloved child, this is the time to walk in authority. Authority not of men, but of heaven. Authority that is not imposed by force, but that is recognized by the weight of my presence. Authority that is not to dominate, but to serve. Authority that is not to exalt the name of man, but to glorify the name of the Lord. I place upon you today an anointing that cannot be measured by natural eyes. I cover you with my glory, so that wherever you go, my spirit is felt. I send you as an answer in the midst of chaos, as light in the midst of darkness, as hope in the midst of despair. And many will recognize there is something different in you, because they will not see you, but me in you. And when the nations ask who you are, you will answer, I am a child of the living God. I am a witness of his love. I am proof of his faithfulness. And that testimony will be your legacy. Not what you achieved, not what you accumulated, not what you showed, but what I did through you. My beloved child, do not live only for the now, live for the eternal. Do not limit yourself to the visible. Walk by the invisible. Do not cling to the earthly. Look to the heavenly. Your legacy will not be erased because it is written by my Spirit. Your name will not be forgotten because it is engraved in my book. Your life will not be wasted because it is sealed in my purpose. So rise, walk in faith, Live as one who knows they are marked by heaven, because what I begin, I finish. What I promise, I fulfill. What I declare, I accomplish. And I declare, your life will echo as an eternal testimony of my glory. My beloved child, this is the climax of your story. You will not only overcome, you will leave a legacy. You will not only live promises, you will be a promise for others. You will not only experience my faithfulness, you will become a testimony of it. And so your life will not end in silence, but in an echo that will never be erased. The voice of my love in you crossing generations.